What's up, everybody? Liam O'Reilly, Vermont economic realtor. Hope everybody's doing well. Came across an article today that was talking about the homes across America that are equity rich, where the homeowners are equity rich. So this article is defining being equity rich in your home as owning or having more than 50% equity in your property. So if you have a $400,000 property and you only owe $200,000 of that, then you're considered equity rich because you have $200,000 of equity that you can tap into. That's your equity. That's your unrealized money. So this doesn't take into account people who are cash buyers, which we've seen a lot of those over the past few years, and they're still out there. So these are just people who are getting loans on properties. I was reading this article and it said that Vermont has the highest percentage of homeowners who are equity rich out of any state, and it's not even close. I have the article over here to my left on my computer, so if I glance over, I'm looking at the numbers. That's what I'm doing. Vermont has 75.9% of mortgaged homes are equity rich right now. So what does that mean compared to the rest of the market or these other states? So I guess to put that into perspective, the next biggest state is 10% lower. The next state on a percentage basis, Idaho has 65.8% of their homeowners who have a mortgage are considered equity rich, so 10% lower than Vermonters. And then there's Arizona at 63, Florida at 62, Utah at 62. So people, there's states that float around that 60%, but Vermont is well up there with 75% of properties are considered equity rich. So what that means is I think the biggest impact to that is there's not going to be a wave of foreclosures, at least here in Vermont. It's not like there was a huge wave of foreclosures back in 2008, but when so many people have so much equity in their property that it's going to be really hard for them to foreclose or to default on that property. As far as how they're coming up with these numbers, my guess is they're just using Zestimates, and which basically Zestimates take your square footage, they take your bathroom count, bedroom count, the general area, and give you an estimate of value. So it doesn't do, at least from my understanding, I could be wrong, it doesn't do a great job at verifying the condition of the property. It just kind of looks at the size and the general metrics, like 3 bedrooms, 2 bath homes that are 1,100 square feet are selling for X amount. Doesn't take into account that one's run down, one's in good shape. So there's going to be some flaws with this data. It's estimated market value. I mean, it's tough to calculate the actual market value of a property, which is part of the reason why there's realtors involved in transactions anyway, because we are going out and looking at properties on a consistent basis, talking with buyers, talking with sellers, trying to get a good understanding of the market. So circling back around, if 75% of homeowners have more than 50% equity in the property, there's not going to be a huge wave of foreclosures. If people need to sell, they'll be able to sell. Even if they have to sell for a little bit under market value, there's still in pretty low risk of foreclosing. Why would you foreclose on your property when you could sell and make $200,000? As an example, in that $400,000 example I gave earlier. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. On the other side of that, it's going to be interesting as people continue to grow equity in their properties. It's going to be interesting to see what people do with that equity here in Vermont. Some of the best parts about being a homeowner is that appreciation and the principal pay down, which results in the equity that you have in the property. So a lot of people will start off with a starter home or a starter condo, pay down the principal over a number of years, start building up equity in the property through appreciation, and then roll that equity into a new property, put a large down payment down, and circle it back through. So, it feels like overall the market isn't appreciating at the rate that it was the past 2 years. I haven't noticed a drop in the market, but I think I mentioned this in earlier videos. If your property's not turnkey, ready to go, it's sitting for a little bit longer. If it has a funky layout, it's sitting for a little bit longer. And that's because buyers have more options these days. There's a little bit less competition. Demand has shrunk as interest rates have risen. So, properties that aren't quite, aren't perfect are taking a little bit longer to sell. And that's not in every aspect of the market, but I would say that's the case for the majority of the housing market, at least around Chittenden County here. So I think with so many people that have so much equity in their property, not going to be a lot of foreclosures. If people have to sell, they'll sell for maybe a little under asking or under market value. I think it's going to open up opportunity for buyers to come in and start getting deals again. Sellers that need to sell and aren't getting the amount of buyers, people that are on risk of foreclosure, they're going to have to sell for under market. They're still going to take their equity and they're going to be okay. But that gives opportunity for somebody to come in, purchase a home from a distressed seller, fix it up, whether it's cosmetic or something a little bit more extensive than that, and then flip it or rent it out, because the rental market is still red hot here, to a buyer who's out there ready to go and kind of has their pick of the litter, so to speak. We don't have so much inventory that you have the pick of the litter now. I mean, great homes are still getting multiple offers. So in my mind, at least with the current market dynamics, this winter's a pretty good time to be a flipper. You can purchase a home that is a little off. Maybe if you can, depending on the amount of work you can do to the property, rearrange the layout a little bit. I have this property in mind where you need to rearrange the layout a little bit, and then boom, it'd be perfect. Or, do some cosmetic updates, fix things up, and sell it to a happy customer on the other end, because we're coming into the winter season here. Listings are going to slow down. Nationally, I'm fairly certain that around the holidays, Christmas time, Thanksgiving is the slowest time of year as far as the housing market goes. Definitely the case here in Vermont. Over the past 2 years, what that's done is the buyers haven't gone anywhere. So the sellers all go home. They don't want to list their home. They don't want people bringing dirt and salt and snow into their property. Days are much shorter. In the summer, it's light until around 9 o'clock at night. In the winter, gets dark at 4. It's pretty tough for people to get out of work at 5, see your property in the pitch black, get a good feel for it, and then, make an offer. So that's something that's discouraged sellers in the past. But over the past 2 years, that's still discouraged sellers, but the buyers haven't gone anywhere. The buyers are still looking hard. They don't care. They've been looking for a long time. They're competing with other people. So inventory shrinks up. The buyer demand stays high. Then all of a sudden, less buyers get properties. Buyer demand continues to stay high. Inventory stays low. And the winter over the past 2 years has been the best time as a seller here in Vermont. Now this year, coming into this winter, we have less buyers. So these tough properties are still sitting on the market. What I predict, we'll see what happens. Obviously, nobody has a crystal ball. What I predict is going to happen this winter is these tougher listings are going to start selling, because new listings aren't going to come to the market. Things are going to get old. Sellers might take, they probably are going to take an offer that's under asking. If you don't want to sell, you're not going to sell. But if you have to sell, you're going to take something under asking, and you're going to be able to unload your property. If not, if you don't have to sell, whatever, then you don't have to sell. You're hoping you got the market at the right time, but you just didn't. So what I predict is going to happen, those tough listings are going to get snatched up. Some buyers are going to get great deals, and then inventory is going to continue to shrink. There's going to be more homes on market throughout the winter that have sat for longer, need a little bit of work. Inventory is going to slow and decline coming into the spring, and then spring's going to pick up. Inventory is going to pick back up. There's going to be more new listings, more new buyers, and we're going to be at more of an equilibrium this spring than we have been in springs past. I think it's going to be similar to the market that we have now, where maybe there's multiple offer situations here and there, but for the most part, we're going to be closer to a housing market here in Vermont that isn't appreciating much, it's not depreciating much, and there's a good balance between buyers and sellers, at least in the springtime. That is my prediction for the start of spring and throughout winter. So winter, dead inventory is going to get snatched up by the buyers that are still out there. Spring's going to come around. There's going to be more new listings. There's not going to be an insane amount of buyers, but there'll be buyers still, and we're going to stick at equilibrium, at least for the spring. We'll see what happens. I don't usually like to make predictions because it's tough. I try to just stay with what I know, which is what's currently going on in the market. But this video led me to make a prediction. So, let me know what you guys think. If you'd like me to give my thoughts about what's going to happen in the future, if you want me to stay with what is going on right now, my guess is I'll end up doing a mixture of both. But I've seen that I've been getting some views on the videos, and I really appreciate it, guys. I've gotten a couple comments and a handful of likes, and it means a lot. So if you like the content, you don't like the content, agree with me, disagree with me, let me know in the comment section. I mean, obviously I'm a new YouTuber, and it's fun. It's fun for me to get some interaction with you folks. Let me answer your questions. If you have any questions, leave them down there. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling now. Kind of went a bunch of different directions in this video, but if you guys are looking to buy or sell a home, let me know. Have any thoughts? Let me know, and see you guys in the next video.